Hey guys, welcome back here to another episode of Intuitive Angling, and really appreciate you guys making some time out of your day and out of your schedule to spend some time with me watching the video. Always very grateful for that. And guys, like the title of the video said here, we're going to be talking about how professional fishing is basically a sport where you spend $100,000 to win $40,000 if you're lucky. And one of the things I want to clarify on this video is every time I do one like this, oh, Randy, just another negative video killing people's dreams, blah, blah, blah. I hear it all the time. I'm not here to kill anybody's dream. I'm here to give people a dose of reality on the situation. I've been there. I've done that. I've done this for 40 years professionally. I know what I'm talking about with it. And I thought it might be interesting for those people that sort of are casual observers of the sport to know the reality of the situation, and especially anybody out there that has a desire to do that. I want to sort of get into that a little bit. Also, guys, before we get started here, just a quick invitation to everybody to hit that subscribe button to Intuitive Angling if you like the content here. It's a good way to help out. Also, by using all my links in the description I put in here for Tackle Warehouse and all that, that's a good way to give back if you like the content here and want to do something to help out. So much appreciated. Okay, guys, I'm sort of going to have a talk here like a dad is going to have a talk with his son, because one of the things about father and son talks, because I've been there and done that too on both ends, most of the time when your dad gives you good information, you don't listen to it. Most people don't. It goes in one ear and out the other until you get older, and then you realize how smart your dad probably was, or how smart your dad was from real world experience. So I sort of want to approach it in that terms there. So the reality of the situation is, guys, is the title of the video could not have said it any better. The professional bass fishing, in a nutshell, is that you spend $100,000 to win $40,000 if you're lucky, most of the time for most of the people out there. Now, there are exceptions. This is going to be a pretty lengthy video, but I want to sort of clarify it starting out with this. There are exceptions to that rule. There's always going to be like 5 to 10% of the pros out there that are the anomaly with that, and they actually make a lot of money through fishing out there. That is an exception to the rule. For example, in my career, I went through about a 10-year period between about 1992 and 2002 where I made a lot of money fishing tournaments. I won tournaments. I placed high in a lot of tournaments. I won about 7 or 8 different fully rigged boats during that period. That was the period of the fishing industry where sponsorships were a lot bigger than they are now. They were easier to get. The prize money was bigger and the entry fees were lower. And there was a 10-year period where I made a pretty big windfall profit every year from fishing tournaments. But for the most part, if you're a successful professional angler, you've got that 5 to 10 year window where sometimes you'll do okay, but usually before and after that 10-year window, you're going to struggle like everybody else. So here's the situation with it, guys, why this is the reality of it. First of all, I got some chickens in the room here. Let me go to get these dang chickens. Every time I got the garage door open, they come in here and they start pooping in the room. So I got to get them out of here. Come on, get out of here. Get on. Close this door here. So anyway, sorry about that, guys. So anyway, one of the most difficult aspects about why today the reality is that you spend $100,000 to win $40,000 is the fact that the payouts are lower now than they've been in probably 20 years, and the entry fees are higher. Most of these guys are paying, on the tour level events, they're paying between $5,000 to $6,000 per tournament just to enter the tournament. And then you got a bunch of expenses with that. You got your lodging for the week, you got your fuel, you got your food, you got your insurance, you got your tackle, you got all this type of stuff. So if you fish the tour level events that cost $5,000 to enter, you're going to be into it for about $100,000 a year. And most of those tournaments, you're going to have anywhere between 6 to 8 tournaments. So if you win $40,000, you basically finished in the top 50 or the top 40 to get that $8,000 to $10,000 check half the time. So that is considered a good season by most people's account out there, because a lot of people don't even win $40,000 or $50,000. So in all practical terms, unless you have a very, very strong sponsor stable, which anymore most people don't, again, 5 to 10% of the anglers do, but everybody else doesn't, you're looking at losing, tens of thousands of dollars every year professional fishing out there. That is the reality of the situation. So from the advice that I want to give people here is I'm going to give you guys sort of like a lot of different scenarios here. First of all, if you want to be a professional angler, or if you guys are interested on this reality of this, in today's world of 2023, it's not like it was when I was back in the 90s and early 2000s, where it opened up and there was a lot more opportunities for people. If you want to be a professional angler in 2023, you better be young, you better be well off financially, you better have a wealthy family, you better not have a girlfriend or a wife, you better not have any responsibilities at home, you better be a video game fisherman. If you don't have those things, if you're not young, if you're not free of relationships, if you don't have a lot of money, disposable income, and you don't have skills as a video game fisherman, the odds of you being successful in modern day tournament fishing are next to none out there. Now, one of the things about it is, and I'll give you guys some advice here for you older guys with families out there, and this may hurt some people's feelings out there, but it's a reality of the situation. Guys, if you have a family and you are just of average means financially, and you're not an expert video game fisherman out there, you might want to seriously reconsider your career options out there, because I can promise you, you're going to have a lot of challenges ahead of yourself. One of the things that you're going to do if you have a family and you want to do this professionally and travel across the country is you're going to wind up spending, you're going to miss half of your kids' lives growing up. It's going to put a strain on your relationship with your wife. You're not going to see your friends and family. And like I said, if you have kids, you're not going to see them grow up. You're going to be gone for 150, 200 days of the year fishing tournaments out there. You're going to have a financial strain unless you're wealthy. That financial stress is always going to be over the back of your head. You're going to be worrying if you have sponsors, if you're going to get a phone call and lose them. I'm here to tell you guys it ain't worth it. It is not worth it to do that. That is my advice. But if you want to fish competitively, there's a lot of other ways that you can fish competitively without having to put yourself in that type of stressful situation. One of the best things out there, guys, is like the BFL circuits. If you have competitive juices and you want to be home all the time and not spend a lot of money, get in something smaller. Compete in the BFL levels. You still have a chance to, qualify for regional classic. You can qualify for the All-American. You still have some incentive there. And you can actually, be there at home to see your family grow up, and you're not putting this huge financial stress on you out there. So right off the bat, my advice is like, if you have responsibilities and you don't have a big discretionary income out there, and you are not, and I don't mean just good at it, if you're not an expert spotlighter, you're not going to be successful in the sport. You're not going to be it. And that sucks, because it's not the way it was when I was in it. Back when I was in it, you could still have just a moderate income, and you could still, rely on your skills, your instinctual primal skills as a fisherman, and do well against a lot of other people. It ain't like that anymore, guys out there. If you look at the people that are successful in tournaments out there anymore, you haven't heard of most of them, because most of them are younger video game fishermen out there, and the well-known guys, if you look at it, they're less and less successful every year, and they're going to continue to be so until Bassmaster and MLF grow a pair and get rid of forward-facing sonar. That is the reality of the situation out there. So I get a lot of people, and I always have, really for the past 20 years, ask me about fishing for a living. I get a ton of questions about that. What does it take to get sponsors? What should I do? What's your advice with that? And my advice, like I said, is unless you can fall into that category, is what I just told you about. You're young, you don't have a wife, you don't have a girlfriend, you're not tied down at home, you're financially well off, you're an expert spotlighter. If you can fall into that category, go for it. Go for it, because you have a good chance of being successful. But if you don't check off each one of those boxes I'm talking about, I'm telling you guys right now that there's problems on the horizon, and it's unsustainable. That's one of the most hard to face realities for a lot of guys that get older that hang on to it. A lot of guys should get out of fishing way before they do. They just hang on to it too long because they don't know anything else. They love it the way it used to be. It ain't the way it used to be anymore, guys. It's not 1992 anymore. It's not the year 2000 anymore. All that stuff that worked back then is worthless now. It's absolutely worthless. So we find ourselves in a totally different reality now than we did before. There's more people fishing than ever before. There's more competition. The entire industry sponsor pie is smaller and smaller and smaller and divided up more and more and more. So you can't rely on sponsorship incomes like you could 20 years ago. 20 years ago, guys, there was a lot of sponsor opportunities, and you could make a lot of profit in fishing. But there's so many tournaments now, and there's so many fishermen after that segment of the sponsorship industry, that there's only 5% of the people, 5 to 10% of the people out there at the most that are going to be successful as far as on that end of it. Now, I wanted to do this video as to help people out. I'm not trying to discourage you from your dream. I'm trying to help people from making decisions that wind up impacting their lives negatively down the road, because I've been there and I've done that. Every one of the situations that I've talked about, I have seen it. I've seen it, whether it be personally, some of them, or with my friends, other friends that have been fishing professionally out there. I know what I'm talking about with this. And you can sugarcoat it the other way around. You can try to be all unicorn and rainbows about it. But, in the long term out there, it's you'll wind up, finding out the hard way about this. So hopefully, guys, if you guys are interested in that, that's my 2 cents worth on it. And hopefully, if you're one of those guys that have an urge to do this for a living, you'll listen to me on that a little bit, because that's just the way it is, man. As unfortunate as it is, and there's been some things happen within this industry that have created that problem with themselves. A lot of it is just it's competition that has actually hurt the sport as the overall whole. It's greed, it's apathy a little bit, it's just sort of being unaware of the situation for a lot of the tournament organizers and the people that have formed tournament organizations out there. In the long term, it has hurt the anglers individually more than anything else out there. So anyway, guys, feel free to drop me comments. If you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to answer your questions with that. Like I said, been there, done that. Just wanted to give you guys a reality check on the situation. So hope it helped out, and I hope somebody who needed to hear this may have heard the video. So we'll check in later, guys. See you.